Rashad, why you
Anyway,
didn't hit me up?
What's up, Rashad?
Hey, Rashad.
What's up, Rashad?
Thank you, Rashad.
brother, I love you, brother. Trump, lit,
What's up, Rashad?
yeah.
What it do, boy?
Hey, Rashad.
Courtney Williams, my story, flaws and all. I love y'all. All right, so Courtney Williams is having a great season. She made the All-Star team. Minnesota's the #1 team in the league. And Studbudz, it's just popping. It's everywhere. Brand deals. Courtney Williams' mainstream visibility is higher than it's ever been. Me personally, on this channel, y'all know my history with Courtney Williams, unless you're new, because I know it's a whole new set of like subscribers who like actively watch me now. I recognize that from 2021, 2022. But in that time, I was heavily critical of Court every single game. Not only were the Atlanta Dream terrible, they were 8-24, and I said they did it for Kobe, rest in peace, Kobe, and things of that sort. After the season, she went on her ex-girlfriend's YouTube channel, and they sat down and they like laughed and bragged about the time that they got into a fight, and they leaked the video of their fight, and they reacted to it, and they were just like making light of it. And it was multiple Atlanta Dream players fighting outside of a food truck, outside of a club, a venue in Atlanta. And I just pretty much like called them stupid for doing that for like an entire week after that. It's extremely critical. Court was out of the league for a little bit, but eventually a team signed her again. It was Chicago to go back to Chicago. No, or Connecticut. And then she went to Chicago, now Minnesota. One of those three teams after she left the Dream. But that's what happened. And now she's kind of raised her profile higher than it's ever been before after getting a second chance. So yeah, with that being said, this is her story. From the Players Tribune, Courtney Williams is a problem. People don't like me don't usually get to be in this position. We're not really celebrated for who we really are. Definitely not made the face of anything, and we dang sure don't get second chances. You know what I'm saying? Let's be real. I'm a black masculine woman from Folkston, Georgia. I'm not corporate at all. No matter what room I'm standing in, I'm walking in the room as myself. And people are going to judge me off the strength of that alone. She's too hood. She needs media training. I've heard it all. I've been judged and written off my whole life. I've been thinking about that a lot lately. Look, my story's not cookie cutter. It's not no Disney Channel original movie. I'll be honest. I was really in those fights. I was at those parties, outside the club, on the block. That was all me. I'm really from that. I really grew up from the spinners and on the Tahoe. If that makes you feel some type of way, his story might not be for you. So you can just keep whatever impression you have. I'm fine with that. If you want the real story, I'll tell it all. But I got to take you back to my dorms and hoop dreams. Teen romance and heartbreak, love and basketball type joint. You get the idea. Siri, play my boo from Usher, Aaliyah, and Alicia Keys, LOL. Okay, story time. So boom, it's 2013. And I'm playing basketball at the University of South Florida, and I got a secret girlfriend. Oh yeah, she's like one of my roommates. Like I said, I'm from a small town, so when I was coming up, being gay wasn't really a thing. People weren't really messing with that. I never even looked at girls that way until I was 18 years old. Sometimes I see someone, I think she's pretty, but that's it. It was never like, oh, you fine. That didn't even cross my mind. By the time it did cross my mind, I was in college, and I kind of was, had that classic situation. Me and my best friend got closer until it became clear that we were more than friends, and we started dating. All right, just this one. That's how it starts, you know what I'm saying? Just this one girl. Oh, this is something real. Anyway, one day my mom and my sister, Denise, were in town visiting me. And their trip just didn't happen to coincide with me and my girl getting into a huge argument over another girl. But we couldn't really argue, you know what I mean? Because my family's there along with another one of my friends, and they don't know that we're dating. So it's all happening on phone. I'm hanging out with them and my phone's blown up. Eventually, I just stopped responding. Mind you, my girlfriend's in the next room over. I guess it's just wild. After a while, she got fed up because all of a sudden it hit like, all right, when I come knocking on that door, just know that I'm telling your mom what's really going on. And I'm like, psh, all right, I'm not falling for her. I'm like, man, I don't care. Next thing I know, knock, knock, knock. Miss Michelle, can I talk to you? Yo, I'm like, bro, what? When you hear that knock on the door, it's a scary movie. It's over with. That's the last thing you want to hear. My mom was like, of course, baby. So she takes my mom to her room. Now I'm sweating effing bullets. Inside, I'm starting to panic. I look at Denise and my friend. And I'm like, man, I got to tell y'all something. They're like, man, what? They see the fear in their eyes. They feel it. And I said, me and Shorty been dating. And she finna tell mama. And like, oh my gosh, we knew it. My mom comes back to my room. She's serious now. She says, Courtney, come here. I'm just so happy Denise was there because she really lightened up the mood so much. She was laughing like, I'm coming too. My friends stayed behind. So me, my mom, and Denise walked into my girlfriend's room. My mama goes, so what's going on? I'm like, I don't know. If this was a movie right there, there would be a cut to my sister looking at me, a cut looking to my sister, then cut to Shorty over there bawling. My mom's like, Courtney, I'm going to ask you one more time. I put my head down and said, me and her been dating. When I tell you, it felt like a bomb exploded in my heart. Oh my gosh. My girlfriend instantly stops crying and she looks at me with the biggest eyes like, what did you just do? Now I'm realizing that she ain't say nothing to my mama the whole time. Oh wow. And my mama is shocked. She leaves the room. My sister bursts out laughing and walks out with my mama. So they don't leave me alone with the girl. We broke up, obviously. When I went back to her room not knowing what to expect, I'm thinking like, is she gonna be mad? Is she gonna disown me? My first thing what my mom said was, I knew you and that girl had something going on. I know my child. Then she smiled and said, it was a game that they had come out and see him play. All my family was there. I can still remember walking out the locker room that day and seeing them in the bleachers. My mom said we were all right there in front of you, and the girl across the way was on these bleachers. She said, "You saw us. I saw you see us." And then she saw me see her. She saw how my face lit up. Dang. She saw that wasn't the kind of lighting up that you do when you see a friend. So deep down, she knew. I feel very lucky when I came out. Both of my parents were very supportive to this day. My mama will laugh and still be like, I still don't know how y'all girls do that. But hey, I love you. I love who you love. Picture folks in candy painting, bright oranges, lime greens, cherry reds. That's just a backdrop. When I tell you folks in is small, man, listen. Mind you, y'all, I'm from Georgia. I never heard of folks in Georgia. The biggest thing that we have in Folkston is Harvey's. We don't have a Chick-fil-A or a Walmart. We don't got none of that. We got a Harvey's, McDonald's, and Burger King. But it's really loving, close-knit community. I can't tell you why, but when Easter comes around, it's going down in Folkston. Always like the biggest holiday we have. It's like one big old block party. We just go but to get the block to get turned up. We go to this park called the Steaks, where everybody just brings out their horses and these big old cars. I'm talking candy painted donks with 22s, big old trucks. It's flooded. I'll never forget when my cousin went to the University of Florida and my dad ended up getting a custom Crown Vic and had the Florida Gators painted up and jacked up on 22s too. That's Folkston. I realized the world didn't think that kids like me were ever going to amount to anything. We weren't worth saving. The way I grew up, if you needed somewhere to stay, our house was always open, especially when it came to family. My mother's sister had kids, like 5 or 6. I remember them coming to the crib, living with us. Another time, her brother's kids came to live with us. I was never alone growing up. Our house was always full. That's just who my mama was. So now that's who I am. My people are my people. I'll always make sure they are good. Maybe it won't surprise you, but being from a place like that comes at the highs, and lows. You establish your values, you learn how to do without, you absorb the flyness, the cars, the sauce. That becomes a part of your essence. But when you also take on the other stuff too, the darker stuff, the anger, the defensiveness, the uncompromising sense of right and wrong, the street codes. You think when I got to the league, all of that just disappeared? Man, you tripping. Ever since I was little, something that I've always struggled with. I hate being mistreated or seeing somebody else get picked on or bullied. I just don't know like being played with. And in the past, when it felt like a lot was happening, I'm not someone who could just turn the other cheek. My parents raised me to stand on business. And that's something that got me into trouble. It's been my downfall always. I'm not saying this to sound tough. I'm just being real. A lot of people won't understand, but people from places like where I'm from, they get it. That's a lot of unhealed trauma. Deal with that. In my sophomore year of high school, it changed my life because of a fight. Someone got into it with my cousin. They didn't know that she was pregnant, so I jumped in to defend her. The cops came, they arrested us, they took us to jail. If we go to jail for the rest of our lives, whoop-de-doo. We go to jail then. I ended up having to go to court with my mama, and they sent us to an alternative school for the rest of the year. Something I wish more people knew about alternative school is that a lot of them don't help the kids there. They're basically just babysitting bad kids. They've already decided what type of person you are. So at that point, they're just preparing you for the rest of your life for the system. For one, schoolwork was super easy. And two, they're almost completely isolated. We weren't allowed to ride the bus with the other kids. Couldn't go to any games, nothing. I missed prom that year. My school experiences was just over. It's one of those things I look back on, and I'm so glad I went through it because it taught me a big lesson in minding my own business, but also in life, honestly. I realized that the world thinks that kids like me aren't ever going to amount to anything. We weren't saving. See, this is the stuff that people don't want to hear. They think just, oh, Courtney got into some fight. That's just who she is, but it's deeper than that. It's about the world I'm from, how I was raised, and what I've been conditioned to accept and to not accept. It's always something that someone says something crazy, maybe even as a joke. Everyone's had different experiences, right? That part's universal, but we all grow up differently, so our reactions are going to be different. I don't play like that. I'll try and reason with you, but if you double down and pride on something, I get upset. That feeling just takes a hold of me so powerful. So she's given the whole explanation of why she was fighting outside of chicken and tenders, even though she was a WNBA player. I'm about to lose it on this person. They're playing with me. I know it sounds crazy, but if you never felt it, but in a moment like that, you're ready to risk everything for your values. One time before a fight, I went to the bathroom and splashed water on my face to try to calm down. I never forget. I'm looking into this mirror. I even had the tiniest moments of self-awareness, like, "Hey, do you really need to be doing all this?" And I said to myself, "Yep, I got to do it. This gotta happen." I wish I could tell y'all that was my last fight, but y'all read the news. It was Atlanta 2024. 2021, I was an all-star that year. I was kind of living the life people rap about. I'm just being real. Partying, sections. My girlfriend at the time was popping in that scene and on YouTube. So I got shout out to Glemzante as well. So I got caught up in that world, and that's a world that I thrive in. Where I'm from, I'm used to being around Black women who twerk, who are proud to be hood. These are my aunties, my uncles, my cousins. These are spaces that I'm used to being in. My grandma still lives in the projects now. My mama used to live in a trailer. When I go home and turn up, I'm on the block. That's where I feel normal. Being in a league is where I felt different. That was the culture shock. So when I'm playing in Atlanta, but I'm also living this underground life in these gay spaces to think the extra black. It's not corporate world. And at the same time, I'm still showing up to practice, doing my job. I was an all-star. I just had all this other stuff going on too. One night I was in a fight outside the club. I told my team about it at the time and we moved on. A few months later, I recounted the situation on YouTube, but I really messed up sharing that. Thank you. And I have to live with it. There we go. The video dropped and it went viral. I go on Twitter and it's everywhere. People are like, look at this hood old chick from the project. She's a problem. Just a lot of stuff like that. And I'll be honest, that really hurt me. I hated reading that. I had the owners from Atlanta calling me and telling me to take the video down. It was a mess. I'll tell you how real it got. Before the video, coming off an all-star year, I'm popping it. My agent is like, every team wants you, Court. You're going to be a max player next year. In the offseason, the league called and told my agent, we want Court to come down and do some player marketing. That was amazing. So in the midst of all that, you decide to repost a fight that you had. And you want to be the victim. You want us to feel sorry for you and be like, dang, we ain't know how she came up. She came from, some people, bro, just dodge accountability. Because like you said, we all have experiences coming up. We all have traumas. We all have, we all have backgrounds. But once you're an adult, you're an adult. And you're responsible for your own decisions, bro. That just is what it is. Like, ain't no, I understand you lit now and everything like that. So you might just look past it and just keep moving out, but you can't. You have to heal the inner child, the traumas, the everything like that. You have to, bro. You can't just go around your life being angry and moving a certain way just because that's how you raised. And it's like, that's what I stand on. That's what I am. You can't do that. You just can't. Unless that's what you want to be. If that's what you want to be, and that's just what come with you, that's just what come with you. That's what you're going to be. But if you want to change and this and that, and you want people to look at you in a different light, you got to change to let, you know what I'm saying? It just is what it is. All right, that was amazing. That meant I wouldn't have to play overseas. Well, fast forward, the video dropped. You dropped the video. The video didn't drop. The video didn't leak. You dropped the video, and it went viral because you reposted the video. The W called my agent, took the player marketing off the table. No team wanted to touch me. All of a sudden, it was like, Courtney Williams is a problem. The only team to reach out was Connecticut, who knew me from the beginning, but only for $70,000. That's enabling the vet minimum. But I'm an all-star in Atlanta, leading in points, rebounds, and assists. I'm easily a max player on any team. Atlanta was the worst team in the league at that time, by the way. They were 8-24. And you got Kennedy Carter kicked off the team. And you was talking trash after you got Kennedy Carter kicked off the team. I was there. Y'all could try this whole revisionist history. And the only reason why you got, because this video just happened to drop. You dropped the video. You bragged about fighting. And you allegedly fought Kennedy Carter in the locker room and got her kicked off. Allegedly. That's what happened in 2021. It ain't no, dang, everybody turned on me. Everybody just thought I was a hood rat and a project baby and this and that. You put this upon yourself. At some point, you have to take accountability for it. And the fact that you're writing this from this perspective, in this way, this angle, 4 years later, 5 years later, just shows that you ain't learned nothing. Now, you're extremely entertaining. Your father is one of the funniest people I done seen, everything like that. Salute to Pops. And shout out to you being entertaining and funny. You're charming, everything like that. Studbudz is a hit. I love all the attention y'all getting and all the endorsement deals. But with this backstory, with this whole, I came from the gutter, everybody counted me out, that was all most of it was self-inflicted. Most of it was self-inflicted. And you're not about to gaslight me into thinking that it wasn't self-inflicted and that it was the system and the people and the man was against you. That was self-inflicted, bro. The word of 2025 is accountability. The only team that reached out was I'm an all-star leading Atlanta in points, rebounds, and assists. I'm easily a match player on any team, but I messed that up. 240 turned into 70. Jonquel Jones is my dog. I love her down. She was in Connecticut at the time. She said, quote unquote, I want you back on this team. She said less than the max salary she could have gotten, and that freed up the cap space to offer me more money. That was huge, man. Listen, y'all know I love to talk mess because I'm playing about New York because we can't stand them. Ha ha ha. But in real life, JJ is my sister. That's my dog. No one can play about JJ around me. So I ended up going back to Connecticut for a year. And then I went to training camp with Team USA, and I think that I just gave people a chance to see me in a different light for so much of my career. And also Athletes Unlimited. Shout out to Athletes Unlimited. Shout out to Ari Chambers. Ari Chambers had a sensational sit down with you. You opened up, you got a chance to speak about it for the first time. And I think that's when you got the opportunity with Connecticut, if I'm not mistaken with the times. But I believe that's how it happened. You know what I'm saying? Or you signed with Connecticut, then you had to sit down with Ari Chambers at Athletes Unlimited. So either way, shouts out to Athletes Unlimited, man. So I ended up going to Connecticut for a year, and then when I got to training, everything was different. So much of my career, I felt tense in between who I really am, who I thought I had to be a representative of in the W, where I've been and where I'm at now, pulling me into two different directions. It took me a long time to reconcile that. But when I look back on everything, the chance that I got from Connecticut, the help that I got from JJ, that's when I realized that these are really my people. I'll always be from Folkestone all the way down. But after almost 10 years in the W, man, this is my family. I belong here too. When I first signed with Minnesota, I felt like when I walked through the doors of the practice facility, I had something to prove. I had a big chip on my shoulder. His organization took a chance on me before it was cool. And I'm honestly so grateful for that. I really just wanted to prove him right. Everybody knows Cheryl Reeve is a winner. Everybody knows the dynasty, Sylvia Fowles, Maya Moore, Lindsay Wellen, Rebecca Brunson. Cheryl is something. First of all, I seen someone repost a thing of, and shouts out to ma'am, because she fills in for Stat Baby on It Is What It Is when Stat's out. But she said, like, Sylvia Foles. I said, bro, Sylvia Foles? Who the heck is that? What the heck? But anyways, Cheryl's someone who is respected in the league. If she wants you on her team, you need to go be on that team. Even my mom was like, if Cheryl wants you, you need to go. And I was like, why? And she was like, because Cheryl is an effing basketball genius. Yo, real talk. When I got there, I won't lie. I thought it was going to be a little boring, cookie cutter, LOL. You know, you had to think. I'm from Folkestone, so I'm like, who am I going to vibe with? And then T ended up signing. That's when I had a sense of relief because we played in Connecticut together and we had a relationship. But I really didn't know what to think about everybody else. I don't know, maybe insecurity, I guess. Like, none of them are going to be able to relate to me. Man, when I tell you I was 100% wrong, when I tell you that these are some of the coolest people I've ever been around, they're so different from me. A lot of these girls grew up in the suburbs, so I'm the opposite of that. So coming as a team, it was like worlds colliding, but I don't know, man. It just works. Cheryl told me when they go into a free agency and when they're looking for is good people. They've had so many women that are talented, but how are you as a person? What is your temperament? What are you going to bring to the team? How am I going to mesh with the people that they already have? And I feel like that's really what it was. We all just mesh. I can literally pinpoint the moment that it all came together. The icebreaking moment was one night when we all went out to dinner as a team. We were just sitting around this table chopping it up. And you could probably see me over the course of the night, us just warming up to each other and impressions of changing one another in real time. And you know what else? That's probably the first time I realized how humble Fee is. She's the most relatable person in the world, bro, and doesn't judge anybody. Also seeing how she handles her business. And when I think I'm tired, I look over to Fee and think, oh, she's really doing it big. She's a mom and she's really doing it like this. And you never see her complain. She always does it with a smile. That's really dope. It's actually funny. Still to this day, I look at Fee as my gut check. True story. I posted a story picture on Instagram where I had on a sports bra. Now looking back in the day, whatever, man. But now I swear to gosh, I'm like, Fee is just too much. She's like, Courtney, that's fine. Haha. It's like, all right, I feel good. Fee says it's cool, we good. So yeah, we went to dinner that night and it's like, dang, we clicked. When I look back at my first year in Minnesota, it felt like a season where it was all just us in a nutshell. It's a little unheard of making a run like we did with a team that's never played together, but they brought me in, T, Lamb. We had all these new pieces, and it's that kind of situation where everything just kind of works. You want to just win, but it takes time. Look around the league and look at teams like that. They're usually not successful that fast. Maybe they'll land somewhere in the middle of the pack, but we're not a finals contender. Game 5 team, you feel me? And listen, I got to address the elephant in the room. We got unfinished business in New York. That finals, I'm pissed, bro, like for real. I think a lot of people, especially our fans, look back at the way we lost in game 5 and have some things to say about officiating or whatever. I know people get caught up on foul calling. Not me. You know what I think? 4 points. In game 5, I dropped 4 effing points. It should have never came down to a foul call. Facts. I agree with this, Courtney Williams. This is accountability on the basketball court. This is what I like to hear. If it's up to the refs, then you didn't do enough. If it's up to the refs and you lose the game, you lost the game. Because you should have put it so far out of reach that even with the refs' mistakes or whatever, y'all still won the game. I've been hooping the whole series. In the last game, I just ished the bed. And Cheryl's so real. She told me that even after all the heartbreak, she's just straight up like, if you would have played the way that you've been playing, it wouldn't even been close. So, yeah, the game's going to stick with me forever. Forever. I think my legs were just kind of shot. And the thing is, having played New York mad times at that point, it's about who can go out and out-hoop the other team. We already know what they were doing. They know all our sets. We know all of theirs. And at the end of the day, I felt my mind and my body just weren't where they needed to be. I wasn't ready in the moment, and that's been my motivation all this year. That's why I've been so locked the F in. I started eating better. You know what? Why am I even talking? Y'all see the results. Y'all see the box scores. She talking that talk. We're coming for the title this year, man. We're going on a bench short. I've been in the league for 10 years, and I need my effing ring, bro. You know what? I love being called a vet. That's my favorite level. Just a vet in the league. I'm so blessed to be a veteran in this league, man. I made a career out of playing basketball. And not many people can say that. I don't think people really understand how hard that is. You want to know something? I didn't even watch WNBA when I was growing up because I didn't think that it would be attainable. In my mind, I was like, I need to focus on whatever I could do to get up out of my mama's house. But I had different priorities at the time. Even in college, I didn't believe I could make it to the W. Not until my junior year. At the end of the season, my coach said, I think you might be the best on the draft board. I think you might be on the draft board. It really opened my eyes. That's when I started thinking like, oh, dang, this is real. I'm really grateful for all the people who never gave up on me, who didn't write me off when they could have. I'm so grateful to Minnesota, to our fans, to the organization, to the amazing women who that make up our team. I was wrong about one thing. Minnesota is dope in the mud. I'm trying to get that mother-loving ring. Believe that. But the real message I wanted to get across is bigger than hoop, to be honest. One last thing that I'll say about me. When I was finally drafted, my biggest inspiration at the time was Cappie Pondexter. Shout out to Cap. When I saw her and I thought that I could be just like her. She was short like me. She was tatted like me. When I looked at her, I really thought that could be me. That's when I wanted to write this. I've always felt like if you see it, you could be it. To some people, that's cliche, but for me, that's as real as it gets because that's how I was growing up. I need to see some proof. And now I want to be that proof. I want to show kids that this is possible, but more than that, I want people to believe that you're not just your mistakes. That's a fact. People will judge you off your worst moments. That's a fact. But you don't have to pay attention to that. You're allowed to grow. I know plenty of people who had to get it out the mud, fell back, and had to try again. That's just the way the story is written sometimes. That doesn't make you bad. It doesn't make you a problem. It makes you human. Shout out to Courtney Williams, bro. Shout out Courtney Williams. I was wearing an American flag polo shirt yesterday, and I was just happy that we can enjoy things that we do. If it wasn't for them, Rashad, we wouldn't have the Dan and Rashad show, 100%. Nothing wrong with Burger King, honestly. It looks like Courtney went through a lot when she was growing up. Yeah, facts. Yeah, she ain't had nothing in the town. She said just a Burger King. And but yeah, man. You know what I mean? Like you said, if it wasn't for the Civil Rights Act, speak on it, Dan. If it wasn't for the Civil Rights Act, going back to that. I guess. All right. Now it's just the rest of the stream is just reaction to streams, and that'll be the end of the stream. So yeah.
This one for the Rashad, why you didn't hit me up?
What's up, Rashad? Hey, Rashad.
What's up, Rashad?
Thank you, Rashad.
Brother, I love you, brother.
What's up, Rashad? What it do, boy?
Hey, Rashad.